Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening and wishing all of you in good health. So today we're presenting uh, uh, another topic which is second last topic, and then next week will be our last meetings for lecture. Next week I'm gonna present the last topic. So today the topic will be the ASEAN and regional cooperations, and let's start. Okay, so regional cooperation is very important to the state and also to the members of ASEAN, because it involves first thing foremost uh, for our revenue to get involved, and then second, regional cooperation also help us to maintain a peace and also stable in living in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia. Okay, so this is the 27 ASEAN Summit, which was held on 2018. Okay, so we have ASEAN Summit, and also we do have our dialogue partners, which is from most of the superpower state, and also we have our dialogue between regionalism and also international organization, for example, EU and United Nations. Okay, lecture outline. This is the outlines of the slide. I'm going to touch on introductions and then focus on Japan, ASEAN, and then ASEAN and China, India, and also conclusion. Okay, introductions, combinations, and also development enhance in terms of political security cooperations between ASEAN and other regional countries. So Japan, China, South Korea, as well as India, we do have regional or we call as partner in ASEAN, because they can't join ASEAN member, but yet we can make cooperations, okay, as well as relationship with other state that beneficial to ASEAN, beneficial to the Southeast Asia. So ASEAN policy in dealing with major powers. Okay, this is the focus of ASEAN. Why they wanted to deal with major powers? Okay, the first would be the enlargement of ASEAN. Wanted to have a cooperation that far from ASEAN, and then ASEAN also wanted to expand their awareness and also their cooperations for mainly focusing in primary in economic areas with major power, because if you, for example, China, US, Russia, as well as Japan has contributed a lot towards economic condition in Southeast Asia. And second would focus on cooperations with major powers, and the third would be the establishment of multilateral security dialogue, for example, ARF, ASEAN Regional Forum, Track 1, Track 2, which is beneficial to the peace and also stability in Southeast Asia. And economic cooperation partners the ground for political and social cooperation. Okay, this is about ASEAN-Japan. ASEAN-Japan had a lot of cooperation going on, not only with ASEAN itself, but we also have bilateral cooperation between state of ASEAN and also Japan, for example, Malaysia, Indonesia. Okay, so we in Malaysia itself, we have our main policy, okay, after we don't rely on British in terms of 90s, that government initiate Look East policy that actually beneficial for the development of industry in Malaysia. Okay, so interest in Japan investment, recorded 2002 to 282 billion. So make Japan as a primary player for all ASEAN country. So the CLV state, okay, Japan give technology assistance important to growth of this country because they still live in poor. And a lot of initiative have been brought out by Japan. For example, New Miyazawa, Obuchi, and also Shanghai initiative that actually create ASEAN to help ASEAN recovers the economy while ASEAN having financial crisis in 1997 and 1998. And Japan approach with ASEAN is a pragmatic, not too political doctrine, and it is view Japan ASEAN cooperation is viewed by the positive by the ASEAN member. Okay, you can look at the Japan ASEAN relationship trade war. So this is recorded 2014. That very consistent. Okay, Japan involved in trading with ASEAN partners. Okay, for example, trading partners, Japan is number 4, and ASEAN is number 2nd for Japan trading partners, and country of investing, and then country Japan invests in ASEAN would be the 3rd largest. Okay, FDI keep on increasing. You can look, ASEAN play a major role. The destinations of Japan FDI. Okay, country attractive for Japan manufacturing companies. Most of the ASEAN Southeast Asia state become the importance to every year. Okay, so the 15 largest state that actually contribute to manufacturing companies, and then comprehensive economic partner uh, agreement. For example, Japan and ASEAN initiate AJCEP agreement, which liberalizations and also facilitations of trade in goods, cooperations in the field of intellectual property, agriculture, forestry, and also fishery. And then the future negotiation on trade in services as well as investment. It actually brought out a lot of income towards ASEAN state and benefit to development of economy in ASEAN. Okay, this is in terms of political security relationship. Driving factor for Japan to forge, why Japan wanted to forge a relationship with ASEAN. The first will be the economic fundamental. Japan look at Southeast Asia as a major market for Japan product. Second will be the strategic location for oil tanker. Okay, Southeast Asia is a strategic location and also is an alley for most of the oil tanker and container ship to go and from Japan. Okay, and second, in terms of political interest, Japan political and security interest factor is because of the relation with ASEAN because of the rise of China. Okay, China were in the Indo-China regional, so the rise of China also make a bit scared to Japan, and also Japan wanted to find some organization that could balance power. Okay, make it balance in the East Asia. And then US argues that Japan play a larger role in the region, and then lower sensitivity among Japan neighbors between North Korea and then China as well as the Taiwan and South Korea. And Japan own a desire to become a normal power and wanted to cooperation closely in the management of security issues, for example, participation in RF as well as ASEAN Plus 3. And the last will provide technical assistance in security management. Japan are good in terms of security management, especially to contain privacy in South Asia, and then to disaster management. Okay, for example, earthquake and everything, natural disaster. So Japan are good at that. The current cooperation between ASEAN and Japan, a lot of bilateral between ASEAN and Japan was strong. Security cooperation limited in terms of assistant technology itself. Japan active in addressing various regional security problems and also provide aid to Philippine government to fight MLF peaceful settlement and also to clear up Abu Sayyaf group. Japan a leading player in international effort to contain piracy in South Asia water. Japan ASEAN Mediated Track 1 and 2 Security Cooperation, RF, and Council for Security Cooperation in Asia Pacific, CSP. Okay, this is framework for ASEAN-Japan Political Security Cooperation. So ASEAN-Japan Security Political Cooperation will be distinguished by the following factor in the foreseeable future. So interdependence among regional and also global economic trade, investment and globalizations. And global, regional, and bilateral trade agreement, for example, WTO, World Trade Organization, ASEAN Free Trade Area, will make greater cooperation. And it is also a sustainable tension, okay, from North Korea, China, and South Korea, brought out Japan to overcome, to actually embrace the AJ, political and also security cooperation, and numerous economic challenges posed by China and all state. Okay, so also give this framework become live. Okay, on 2013, so ASEAN Japan issues come up with commemorative summit, so held in Tokyo to celebrate 14th anniversary ASEAN Japan relationship. With visions, four main point, which is a partner for peace stability, their vision. Second will be partners for prosperity, partners for quality life, and last will be heart-to-heart partnership. So it actually give a lot of beneficial to both parties. For example, strengthen cooperation on maritime security, infrastructure projects, sustainable agreement negotiation on the investment, and also cooperation package for disaster management, and cultural and art exchange support for Japanese language that actually brought up a lot of positiveness between both states. Okay, this is cooperation on disaster prevention. So Japan are good in terms of management disaster. Uh, the corporations of ASEAN were called as AHA Center, which is ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management. So it was established in 2011, and a lot of events that Japan involved and give assistance. For example, to develop an integrated disaster prevention, construction, and also operation of disaster emergency logistics system that being utilized, okay, in the Typhoon Haiyan disaster in Philippines, floods in Myanmar, and also earthquake in Myanmar. And thus, the disaster-related human resource development project ACE program was built out, a 6-month training program for executive officer of national and DMOs, and cooperation through Japan International Cooperation Agency, which helpful to national disaster assessment, activity development, and also strengthening also the medicine system. Okay, the summary. ASEAN-Japan relation to be guided by the following 5 basic principles: spirit of equality and also mutual respect, to recognize principle of international law and conduct, non-interference principle shall be respected. ASEAN-Japan cooperation should not be directed against the national security of any third party and threaten its legitimate security interests. And then cooperation should be consistent community building towards the realizations of the East Asian vision of peace. Okay, let's move to India. So Japan, ASEAN, India. So it is also a significant cooperation between ASEAN and also other superpower state. So post World War II, India played active role as promoter of ASEAN regionalism. So Indian persuade non-alignment movement, and also during the Cold War, India was pro-Soviet. But end of the Cold War, the rise of China, India realized ASEAN importance in terms of political, economy, and also development. So India also launched Look East policy, same like Malaysia on 1990s. Then Look East policy focused to become actively involved in Southeast Asia affairs. 1996, India took part in ASEAN post-military and also RF first time in 50 years. So India to attend a multilateral dialogue in political security in ASEAN Pacific region. So the first summit was 2002, East Asia Summit, and become member 2005. And then trading partner consists recorded from 1980 to 2000 were 5-time increase. And then ASEAN become third largest trade partner of India. Singapore and Malaysia were the largest partner to India. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's continue. Okay, next slide. So India effort to strengthen its relationship with ASEAN is based on the following consideration. This is a consideration lah. The first was the economic growth, and second, northern eastern region Myanmar and India were shares border. They wanted to create stability. And third, against terrorism, to balance China growing influence, and the last is great power ambition to become also ASEAN power like China. So what is ASEAN from this? Primary aim to balance its relation with the powers. Okay, you can just follow and also read. And this is the beneficial from ASEAN trade with China and a lot of things that being brought out. Okay, what is for ASEAN from this? Okay, the first main things that ASEAN get will be the reduced depends on Japan, Western country, as well as China in trade economic relationship. Second, India to balance China military power. So China nuclear territorial claims attitude towards Taiwan. So India was the buffer zone or the team player that actually can create balance in Southeast Asia. Although China was too big, but yet when the relationship with India happens, so it might have balance of power. Okay, in terms of relationship from ASEAN to China as well as to India. Okay, this is the roadmap of India-ASEAN relationship starting from 1993 until 2010. So you can see the flow and also the developments of relationship between these two parties. Then let's move to China. Okay, China, you all know that it's a big state, superpower state, one of the veto power state, and wanted to become future superpower of the world. So before 1990s, no official recorded from ASEAN and China relationship, but most of the ASEAN member had an official bilateral relation with individual. For example, Malaysia had a bilateral cooperation with China starting from 1970s. So as well as Indonesia and also Thailand also have their bilateral relation with China itself. But 1997, so ASEAN as an organization took up a dialogue between ASEAN and China to actually create a mutual cooperation between ASEAN and China itself. Okay, starting from 1997, so ASEAN plus one summit with China was happened, issued a joint statement. But China, ASEAN security relationship were mainly focused by territorial dispute. Why China wanted to accept a cooperation with ASEAN because of first they have security issue in South China Sea, right? So maybe on this cooperation maybe we can dispute, maybe they can actually negotiate or dialogue talks in terms of these issues by joining ASEAN because China had claimed Philippine territory, which is a Miss Reef and also Sabah Shoal, and then also China also had claimed some of Vietnam Sea and land borders. So it actually a security issue also. Okay, ASEAN-China, an important milestone. ASEAN-China relationship, 2003, China signed TAC, Treaty Amity Cooperation. Then it actually official, okay, the relationship between ASEAN and China. Trade will reach highly recorded 78.3 billion with the highest as 42%, okay, on 2003 after China and ASEAN were agreed to become partner. So ASEAN investment in China also increased annual rate until now. And then China ASEAN Free Trade Area was implemented. It's a milestone agreement. And also some of security cooperation being being negotiated by ASEAN and China itself. Okay, this is short term and also long term. The objective ASEAN towards China. First, ASEAN short term concern is Taiwan issues. Okay, China had dealing issues with Taiwan. You know that Taiwan happens because of the formations of Taiwan itself is before this as a China's territorial, and then issues of nuclear proliferation in North Korea, terrorism, and also weapon of mass destruction. And long-term concern, first will be the rising of China. It's very concerned towards the international system, involving relationship between China, Japan, and also China-US relationship is upside down right now. Okay, so this is the long-term concern. ASEAN and China relationship. China's main objective in Southeast Asia is to preserve a regional security environment. Okay, China perception and policy towards multilateral institutions have changed. Okay, China realized that multilateral forum like ARF and the ASEAN might not necessarily be harmful to its national security. Instead, multilateral cooperation could be also as a diplomatic platform to promote its own foreign policy agenda. The shift in China perceptions to multilateral forum was due to two factors. Okay, the first factor will be the features of ARF itself. It is forum begin an extend model of ASEAN has been operationalized on the basis of the ASEAN way, which is features in the form of informal, wide consultative, consensus, and also incremental approach. Second factor that a usage China suspicions of multilateral institution is ASEAN unique role in maintaining equal relationship with major powers. For China, the fact that ARF is led by ASEAN and not other big powers such as United States and Japan is politically acceptable and in fact preferable. Okay, China hope to reassure its neighbor to end to them the China threat theory by adopting taking part in a multilateral agreement talk. And this is the initiative that being brought up by China and ASEAN to strengthen the development strategy. And then this is the trade from 2000 and also 2030. So you can see the increasing is very dramatic. And then summary, ASEAN China relationship become generally important strategically. So ASEAN relationship with Japan, US and India is important as well. So ASEAN balance strategy honest broker in regional politics to maintain peace and stability in Southeast Asia. So that's all for this video. And then next video we have another one, which is also about ASEAN regional cooperation, but that one is for this. Okay, so thank you for now. Wait for the next video.